Can Africa's youth feed the continent? What would it take for Africa to be food secure?
Does the continent have the right structures in place to ensure that by 2050 it can actually meet its food demands without having to import or stretch out the Bergenbau?
Well, these are some of the questions that experts, African policymakers and farmers will be seeking to address when they meet in Rwanda this week for the African Green Revolution Forum, the AGRF. Sarah Kimani filed this report ahead of that crucial gathering.
It's 8 a.m. Alpha Getau has been up for 5 hours, during which time he has milked his 7 cows and slaughtered 200 chickens. We're here just as he prepares to send the last batch of slaughtered chickens to the day's clients. And then he begins other chores in his farm. This has been his daily routine for 4 years now. He started while still an undergraduate student at the University of Nairobi studying economics.
And for me, why agriculture really is, it's very simple. People need to eat, given the chance 3 times a day, given the chance 4 or 5 times a day. That means the market for food products is actually there. And yet we are still growing in terms of population, so that means more demand for food.
So big is the food market that Africa's annual import bill stands at close to $40 billion. According to latest statistics, it is expected to rise to $110 billion by 2025.
We have a significant part of our population that see agriculture as a subsistence business, that don't see the opportunity that it offers. And yet, if you look at some of the big economies out there, the proportion of agriculture to the economy is huge. And when you look at our GDPs, most of our countries are still running on 30% contribution from agriculture.
Getau started off with $600, which helped him keep 200 chicken. He has since employed 2 farm hands. He gets 120 liters of milk daily from his 7 dairy cows and slaughters 200 chickens every week. All this produce has a ready market. He keeps the cows and chickens on a section of land where his parents once practiced this same kind of farming.
My parents used to do 10 cows and used to get 50 liters. Me, I'm doing only 7 cows and getting 120 liters.
Because what are you doing differently?
Because for me, I have been able to go to other farms and to learn different practices, different new ways of actually feeding cows. Because really, feeding cows is all about management. Management includes feeding, includes how well they are kept, includes their health as well.
The agriculture industry is worth $1 trillion across this continent, right? The question is how you build these value chains that feed into the agriculture sector so that there's an opportunity for youth to be part of. And it's going to be a number of things. It's going to be what type of skills do youth have to be able to engage in agriculture. Because the agriculture sector is a skills sector. You have to have the ability to make something productive.
Getau makes his own cattle feed, a vital element in the production of high milk yields. And nothing goes to waste here. The dung powers his home, providing a clean source of energy. The United Nations estimates that at least 17 million people are entering the African job market every year. Less than half are absorbed into gainful employment. While research shows that if countries committed at least 10% of their GDP to agriculture, economies would grow by 6%. Less than 10 out of the 55 African countries achieve their commitment on agricultural spending. So if Africa is to feed itself, this is where to start.
For me, the issue becomes what are the policies and the institutional mechanisms that are driving how we manage the agricultural sector in Africa?
I think really as Kenya, we have enough policies in paper. That's a problem. We have very many policies, but they are actually never seen to be implemented.
When African leaders, private investors, donors and smallholder farmers meet in Kigali beginning Monday to see what more Africa can do to feed itself, they will have a chance to ask themselves tough questions.
Today, India, with 1.3 billion people, has the capacity to feed itself for a period of 2 years if they had 100% drought without producing more food. How long would Africa feed itself for if we had one drought after the other? How long would we feed? Even 3 months, I'm not sure that 3 months would work. For that reason alone, we need to worry as leaders that we have the capability to feed ourselves is just not grounded.
A wake-up call. Getao is proof that agriculture pays and that young people can actually go back to farms and feed not just themselves, but the continent. But here also lies the challenge for African governments. It will take more than just going back to the farms for young people. You need to provide them with the skills necessary to be able to feed Africa. Sarah Kimani, SABC News.